See you.
It's been a while.
Yes, how are things? What are your impressions of the show so far?
Well, it's a great energy. As always, San Diego's a great draw for folks to come in. But it's been a while since I was here,
Yeah.
and the last time I was up on this stage, I was in a very different environment.
That's right.
I'm now working with ESD Global. They're
Yes.
an engineering consulting firm, and it's good to go from a very large company of 50,000 people down to an engineering firm of 280 people. So I might actually get to know people.
That's great. Well, beyond just that, what do you enjoy about being at a firm that's able to work at a more granular level?
Well, I have the opportunity to report directly into the president of the firm, and also it's kind of a startup within a company. The company's been in business for 50 years. ESD Global started out in 1967 as a mechanical engineering and plumbing consulting firm. But they've been recently expanding into the design, the definition, and delivery of intelligent buildings. So it's a small group within the company. There's 5 of us within the group, but we feel like we have access to all the other disciplines, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, consulting, energy practice, and commissioning agents within the company. So it's a full range of service across the life cycle.
Now, this may be silly, but do you make a distinction between intelligent building and smart building?
When people ask that question, you can ask 10 people and get 10 different answers. Sure. But they're often put into the same category. There's a standard out there. It's called the Building Intelligence Quotient. And it's different than the other rating systems, but it specifically looks at the attributes of how smart is your building? How many different intelligent features or functions does it have? It's on a scale of 1 to 100, and anything over 70 is typically considered a smart or intelligent building. So they're often used interchangeably, but I think the term that's starting to get more acceptance is intelligent building, because it's more specific, more measurable, and you can really, it's more objective than subjective.
Looking at the landscape right now, what's something that exists today in intelligent building that even if I'd said to you 5 years ago, if I'd said it's going to be like that, you'd say no way. Is there anything out there that's kind of...
Well, a really good example that's used frequently is the project in Amsterdam. It's called the Edge.
Right.
And I think it's been a case study here at the show before, but that's often used as a great example. And what sets it apart is the density of the number of sensors, the number of different applications that have been truly integrated together. And I think we're starting to see more of those, but it takes a very dedicated and passionate owner-operator to, number one, recognize the opportunities, but then follow it through from design to construction. Oftentimes, at the end of a project, the owner or the contractor will have to do what's called value engineering. I sometimes joke about it, call it value extraction, because all the good ideas that you had, sometimes they get cut out of the budget. But if you have a good solid business case at the beginning, you can establish an intelligent building does not necessarily have to cost more in terms of capital expense. It certainly can cost less to operate over its life cycle. But if you have a good model at the beginning, a good process model, the right people engaged, it can be as cost-effective as a traditional building.
What gets you passionate about this work?
I think realizing the vision that people have had for many years. I was just talking to Jim Young yesterday, and he says, Dave, we've been doing this for 19 years, and people still don't get it. But fortunately, there's people like Jim and Howard that are still pursuing the dream. And
right.
I think more and more people are starting to realize that it's possible where these buildings can be smart, they can be intelligent, energy efficient. So I think just the persistence of people that are here at the show, folks like the Yardi company that's been with it for so long that really is keeping it going.
But what is it about intelligent buildings that gets you personally excited? Talk about that dream. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think there's 3 things we look at, and it's the value proposition is both the energy efficiency, so we look at the environmental aspects. We also look at the economic aspects. But the third one that we're most interested in making real is the experiential side of it. So that when people go into an intelligent building, that they really can experience what they expect to see. That The comfort is there, the lighting levels are where they want to be, they're not too hot, they're not too cold.
Right.
But it's the experiential aspects of making building intelligent vision come to life that keeps us going, keeps us excited and interested.
Can you talk about some of the projects you're working on right now with ESD? I mean, what are some of the things that you're excited to be enacting?
Well, there's a developer in Chicago, the John Buck Company. They're particularly interested in seeing their vision come to life. So what we're actually previewing and showing today is an application where if you walk into the lobby of this new building, it's under construction. It'll be available next year.
Sure.
When it's completed. But the building will know who you are. If you're a registered visitor, or let's say you're a prospective tenant, this company in particular is working on projects in Chicago and San Francisco, but they really have a great vision for what an intelligent building can and should be.
What do we need to do to get people, to get the market more open, willing, able to adopt?
It's a continuous education.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to find its way into certainly the university curriculums, but even junior high and high school is not too early to start training people. And I think as the new generations get more interested in 3D design and robotics, and we've got a good friend whose daughter is only 12. And she's very interested in, well, what can robotics do for buildings? And it's spurring on these ideas that get people interested and students excited.
We saw something from the Irvine group earlier today, a robot named Pepper. And basically it's a robot concierge. We'll see something from a company called Alice a little later today. In your experience, I know we're going a little bit outside the scope of the topic, but in your experience, what is it that people crave? What is the key to getting people engaged in an emotional level?
It's using technology to make their life easier. A great example is we're working with a client that has, they're in an area that it's traffic congested, it's hard to find a place to park. They'd like to know where they're going to park before they get to the campus. So if we had some sort of magic parking system that could tell people exactly what spaces are available right now before I get to campus. So it's just finding ways to make technology truly make people's lives easier, safer, more comfortable. We've talked about it for many years, but going from vision to reality is often a lot harder to do than said.
In what ways does Realcomm fulfill in that mission?
Well, I think it provides real examples of how these things can work. I mean, we can go to any one of these booths, we can attend the sessions, and I think people can see real proof points, real case studies where these ideas come to life and they can see it working in action, and that tends to give them hope that when they go back to their day job the next week that maybe they can make this work, and it's not just a pipe dream.
Terrific. Dave, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for the time.
Dave Clute, Environmental System Designs.
Thank you.
Getting us